10th grade.
And so a lot of Jewish actors and artists have made their living for years tutoring bar mitzvah students. So.
It is a more lucrative way to teach something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure it has its own frustrations as well.
I actually taught Hebrew school for about 10 plus years, and I taught 6th grade mostly. I taught a lot of grades, but mostly 6th grade, and there's a lot of great challenges about 6th grade because the students are starting to develop their personalities and get sarcastic and get attitudes, and I love that. But teaching the same prayers over and over again, for me, got kind of like, okay, I've done this, and I'm ready to move on.
When did you develop your personality and get sarcastic and get attitude?
My first round of personality was probably middle school, like around 6th grade when most people do. And then my personality that I have now was between college and moving out to Los Angeles.
So where did you go to college and what did you major in?
I went to The Ohio State University, go Bucks, and I majored in music, vocal performance.
When you're in high school, what clique were you in?
I was a theater nerd.
Yeah.
But in my high school, theater and choir were actually really respected, so I was kind of cool, but still nerdy.
Sweet.
And I didn't realize that I was cool until my senior year, and like people looked up to me, because I never had the kind of self-esteem that someone who was cool would have. But I was like theater, choir.
So when did you start to realize the sacrifices that would come with making a career in singing, and how did you go about weighing the pros and cons?
Well, I always wanted to be a cantor, so I thought that after college I would go to cantorial school. And that's a 5-year commitment, and it's in New York City, the one I wanted to go to. And when I decided against going to cantorial school and to just completely follow my dreams without any kind of program or structure, I realized that it ain't so easy. There were times that I've had 5 jobs at once.
Wow.
And that's exhausting.
Yeah.
And that's not really beneficial to creating a career, because you're so tired by the end of the day.
Yeah.
When do you sing?
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of ebbs and flows of different kinds of living. I've had a few years of touring, which was a great experience. I've had a few years of balancing many jobs. I've had a few years of having one pretty good job and singing on the side. And now I've built a vocal empowerment business that I'm just getting off the ground in a big way, that's supporting me so that I may do that and sing, so that it's all related and it all feels good.
So where can people find more information about your business?
AriellaApproach.com, which is ARIELLA approach.com.
And what is the Ariella approach to singing?
Basically, it is that each person is unique, and that with the technique and the confidence building practices that I have, and there's a baby crying, so I'm distracted. But with the technique and the confidence building exercises that I do, knowing that each person is unique, we tailor it to each individual. And it's so much more than just the singing voice or the speaking voice, but that voice inside, that intuition that helps people follow their own heart and hear their truth. That's sort of the root of everything I do. And the physical voice is to support that.
So do you like hit a key on a piano and say, now hit that, kid?
If somebody needs to learn to match pitch, then we do that. Sometimes I'll do very traditional warm-ups on the keyboard and have people do those. Sometimes we won't touch the keyboard because that actually intimidates some people. And some people get really stiff because that's more proper.
Right.
And it really just depends on the person and what they need.
So what do you love and what do you hate about teaching people how to sing?
I don't really hate much. I guess the only thing I hate would be if somebody's not open to receiving feedback and to changing.
Yeah.
I recently actually did work with someone who had an audition for the show Glee, and it was very challenging because I think he was nervous and he had trouble opening to feedback, but I love everything else about it. I love hearing people that are really nervous feel safe enough to sing. I love when somebody sort of has a breakthrough. I love it when somebody starts laughing or crying in the middle of singing because they're releasing an emotion that's been stored in there.
So you were speaking to a psychology class today. What were you talking about?
Well, I didn't do that today, but...
Oh, you did that.
I was talking about finding and utilizing your authentic voice and doing it with confidence.
And what were some of the points that you made?
I was talking about how, well, I like to talk about this a lot, how there are actually 3 voices that combine to make one voice. And those 3 voices are the physical voice, which is the voice box, and breath and the body. And then there's the emotional and mental voices in our mind that are not always so nice to us, and it's up to us to really work with them to not let them get in the way of us being our most authentic selves. And then the voice of our intuition, or our spirit, or our self that really wants the best for us. And when these 3 voices work together, we have our most authentic voice. And if one of these voices are off, but the other 2 are on, we're not going to be empowered with our most authentic voice. So that was one of the main things that I talked about. And then it was getting people singing, and getting people making sounds that they wouldn't normally make, and getting people to step out of their comfort level just a little bit, but then realizing that it's fun.
So are you a diva?
I don't know, am I?
I'm not going to pronounce.
Do I come off as a diva?
I just met you, so...
When I was in music school, the divas were like so stereotypical divas. You know, they were gay men and women who would literally wear boas in the music school hallways and be like, "Hi, honey, how are you doing? Okay, let's go." You know, and
I was going to dress like that for this interview, but...
Next time.
Next time. Had to.
And then they would be kind of rude. Like they would just, and I don't think they even knew, or some of them might have, but I don't consider myself that kind of diva, no. But I, over the years, have learned that confidence is good, believing in myself is good, and saying something like, "I'm an amazing singer," is good, and so I'm that kind of diva.
I don't know almost anything about singers, but I have this idea in my head that most of them lead unhappy lives, at least like the famous singers. Is that true? I mean, are they all like Britney Spears?
No.
Is it true that she was your role model?
She is not my role model.
Okay.
And I didn't like her for a long time, but now I actually like pop music more than I did, because I realized that so many people love it, and if I'm going to be a famous singer, even though it might not be my thing, I can find a way to take what they do and what I do and maybe bridge the gap.
Right.
And that's what I'm working on right now. But I think that most artists live lives that are not normal, that are, you know, they maybe take more risks, or they maybe feel things a little bit differently or a little deeper. Not to say that other people don't, but maybe they're more tapped in to the feelings, and so that can be very painful. And I know that I've gone through stages of immense pain. I didn't do drugs and shave my head, and you know, but I cried a lot. So I think, you know, each singer, just like each person, has their own challenge, but no, they're not all like Britney Spears.
How would you feel if your kid wanted to be a singer?
Happy.
Would you be frightened? You'd be happy?
Yeah. I hope that when I'm a parent that I